My father was too worried about just getting a job. The poor guy was out of work most of the time, which is why I was working even when I was in school. I always had part-time jobs. When I was 16, I worked at the world's second largest trouser manufacturing company. Then I got a job as an usher in New York at the Rivoli Theater in Times Square. I got into comics by accident when I heard there was a job open at Magazine Management. They wanted me to work in the comic department. Some department, it was two people, Joe and Jack. And they were the two who were really running Timely Comics when I came there to work. Jack was the artist, and he did some of the writing also. Joe was the writer mainly, but he was also the editor. So he was the one I had most to do with. He'd send me down for sandwiches or ask me to fill an inkwell. I mean, I did a lot of real journalistic things with him.
I remember the first day he came here, he came to the office. He had a little flute, and he'd sit in the corner and play his flute and drive Jack Kirby crazy. I never thought when he came to the office he would make it.
There was a time when they needed a 2-page filler.
Each comic book had to have 2 pages of prose to be accepted for second-class mailing privileges. And it was our contention that nobody ever read that stuff. So I started to stand on writing these 2 pages.
And I thought, wow, my first assignment. So I wrote one called, I think, Captain America, The Traitor's Revenge.
Stan treated the thing with great respect. He was now a professional writer.
My name at the time was Stanley Martin Lieber. I took my first name, Stanley, and cut it in half. I didn't want to use the name Stanley Martin Lieber because I was saving that for the great American novel, which I never wrote.
After about 10 issues of Captain America, less than a year, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby suddenly left the entire company, and all of a sudden we didn't have an editor. Captain America was left in the lurch without its main writer and artist.
I looked around to see who'd replace them, and I realized there was nobody. I was the only guy there. So the publisher, Martin Goodman, he said, do you think you can hold down the job of editor and art director and head writer until I get, a real person? I was about, 18. I said, sure, I can do it.
It's more that he was there, he was writing, he was even a relative. But the main thing was he also would have recognized that Stan was a bright kid, he's working cheap, so why not put him in charge?
I wrote a lot of the Captain America stories, but then eventually a lot of other writers did because there wasn't time for me to write everything.